Hi everybody, this is Erica and I wanted to talk about menopause and skincare. And this is something I don't think the skincare industry is really addressing well enough. And as an esthetician, I'm hearing a lot from women who are menopausal, perimenopausal or postmenopausal, that they're seeing all these kind of sudden changes to their skin. Some of them even say it seemed to happen overnight. And it's things like laxity, it's things like exaggerated fine lines and wrinkles, it's things like dullness and an uneven texture. And they're sort of feeling one way that this is just a natural kind of progression in their lives, and they're sort of a little bit just kind of resigned to it. And the other thing is like, what can I do? What can I do? And this is something that is also personal to me because I'm 50 years old and I am about to hit menopause myself. And I am seeing changes in my skin that I'm trying to address and kind of get ahead of a little bit so that, I'm not sort of overwhelmed about the changes that happen at once. So if you are in that age range, I know that a lot of women feel like they're kind of invisible to the beauty industry, and they still are, and it's insulting to see a anti-aging cream being marketed by a 25-year-old model. It's just not realistic, and it doesn't really address what women who are 50, 60, 70, whatever their age is, what their concerns are. And so for a client that was coming to me that was concerned about all these changes, I would recommend, one is going to your doctor and talking about, hormone replacement therapy. But that is a discussion to have with your doctor. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to get into the advice on that side of it. But the other thing topically that you can do before you go racing to like a cosmetic surgeon is you can start using retinoids. And I would recommend, if you've never used retinoids in your life before, start with the weakest strength. Start with a very gentle retinol. Use it twice a week. I know that sounds like nothing, but it's going to get your skin acclimated to retinol. And then as the weeks progress, gradually increase it by a day. And give this a good 6 months. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't expect to wake up the next morning and you look completely different. Retinol, it has a cumulative effect on the skin. It's not something that is an overnight thing. And that's with pretty much any skincare, topical skincare that's out there, it's more of a marathon mentality than a sprint mentality. So retinoids basically are the building blocks, or basically provide the building blocks for collagen and elastin production. And some people are very sensitive to retinol, so I would recommend, if your skin is not reacting well to it, if it's getting very inflamed or irritated, you can switch to something gentler, like I mentioned in a short, adapalene is one option. Another option would be bakuchi oil, which is not as well studied, but has some evidence saying that it can have some similar effects to retinol. But that's what I would recommend kind of starting with. You're wanting to boost your collagen and elastin production because it is now aggressively slowing down that you've hit your menopause years. The other thing that I would recommend is use sunscreen every single day in, day out, whether you're staying indoors, whether you're going outside, whether it's the winter or the summer, wear it every day. So you don't want to add to the photo damage that you're already seeing. You don't want to, basically, cause more fine lines and wrinkles. It's a very unsexy thing to say, but sunscreen. Absolutely know how much of it to use, to put it on your face, neck, chest, hands, everywhere. So that is basically another thing that I would highly recommend. Another is humectants. Humectants, I know hyaluronic acid is kind of like the hero humectant out there, and it's skincare brands have created their entire lines around hyaluronic acid, but there are actually humectants out there that are even more effective. Glycerin is a great humectant that doesn't get nearly as much attention as it deserves. Polyglutamic acid is an effective humectant that's even more powerful than hyaluronic acid. And then you want to put something like Ectoin on your skin, which will bind that moisture into your skin. So the humectant is going to draw the moisture into your skin. You want to put something occlusive on the skin that will basically hold that moisture into the skin. These are going to minimize the appearance of the fine lines, some of the wrinkles, things like that. You also want to do gentle exfoliation on your skin, and I emphasize gentle. So no harsh scrubs, nothing like that. Use lactic acid. Glycolic acid is very, very strong and can be too strong for someone with sensitized skin in menopause. So try lactic acid. It's a gentler exfoliant, and it does remove some of the dead skin cells and pigmentation that you're seeing on your skin now that you're in your menopausal years. So those are kind of the starting points. A really good moisturizer, and that doesn't mean a $300 cream moisturizer. That means one that just has those moisturizing qualities. Like if you see glycerin as the first ingredient or the second ingredient, that's a great moisturizer to start with. It can be a $15 moisturizer at the drugstore, but just be very diligent about moisturizer, keeping your skin hydrated. Your skin barrier now is not functioning nearly as well as it was when you were young, so you really want to keep your skin moisturized. So I'm also a journalist as well as an esthetician. I was a journalist for many years before I became an esthetician, and now that I'm hitting menopause myself and I'm an esthetician, I've written a book about menopause and skincare. I'm specifically addressing the concerns of women who are in menopause, and I will link it below if you're interested in reading it. It's just something that I put a lot of work into, a lot of research into, and I hope that this is something that helps address the questions that women have about skincare now that they're hitting, menopausal years, or even if they're beyond, even they're postmenopausal. So that is something that I'm offering up. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.